Hey, happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us for your lunchtime forecast here with Hail Trace. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we have quite a busy forecast today. So let's jump right into it. Significant hail likely, as well as that tornado threat across the plains, mainly for both Omaha and Kansas City, but other places are included in that threat as well. And just this morning, we have now upgraded, the National Hurricane Center upgraded Tropical Storm Ernesto to now a hurricane. So that is a Category 1 hurricane expected to strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane over the next few days. So we'll talk about that timeline as well. Real quick, I want to tell you about our next event that we have on the calendar here, the Texas Roofing Conference. That is on September 11th through the 13th, so just about under a month away now. That's out in Irving, Texas. It's a pretty good conference. There's a lot going on with this conference. We want you to come visit us at our booth. It's booth 140, and if you visit us and signed up for an annual plan, we have exclusive deals just for this conference. So go to our Facebook page, tell us that you're coming. We have a Facebook event posted on our Facebook page. So go ahead and comment in there and let us know that you will see us there. All right, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday we had a pretty impressive hailstorm out in Utah. We had some wind farther out to the east. We talked about South Carolina yesterday, just some marginally severe storms out here. Pretty high wind in Colorado. The hail in Colorado was pretty sparse and isolated. However, hail just to the south of Salt Lake City, pretty impressive. We had a 3-star hailstorm yesterday. So this is just to the south of Salt Lake City. Some of the largest hail in this area got up to be golf ball sized hail. This is in Saratoga Springs all the way out to just north of Provo out here. About 52,000 homes impacted, and you can see some of the largest hail fell just to the south of Salt Lake City here. We actually have some very impressive videos. If you head over to our Instagram or TikTok pages, those videos, or even Twitter, those videos have been posted there. I want to show you. Oh, we can go back to Denver. Okay, Denver yesterday saw a very, very brief spin-up tornado, or landspout rather. So that's why they have that tornado report on there. But I want to show you some of these videos here. You can see that area, that hail core just to the north of this lake here, and you can see some of those storms. Look at that, all that hail that came out of this storm here. So we had that hail core go through, producing a ton of hail in this area. I think we can go to the next video here. There we go. Just a ton of hail, almost looking like snow in this area. Pretty impressive. We don't get a ton of hail in these areas, especially this time of year. So it's pretty impressive to get this up in the mountains like this. And then I have one more picture for you here. We may not be able to show it. Okay, well, we had another picture of a fence that was just totally beat up by all of this hail. It looks like you just took golf balls and just like repeatedly chip them into the fence. So go ahead, go to our Facebook, Twitter pages. You can see that picture there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your current conditions out there. We have showers and storms anywhere from Arkansas all the way up the Mississippi River back to North Dakota. Some of these showers and storms will be something that we will be watching later on today to produce those severe storms that will have large hail, high wind, and a tornado threat with it. Right now, I don't see anything that has turned severe. We had some showers and storms in Kansas City this morning. Those are now moving off to St. Louis. And we currently have some showers and storms in North Dakota. I think the first place to watch today will be those storms in North Dakota. I think over the next few hours, we're going to see some of our first few severe thunderstorm warnings. Taking a look at Oklahoma City right now, your lunchtime temperatures are in the 90s, 91 right now, but of course it feels even warmer than that. 79 up in Kansas City, still staying just a little bit cooler because of some of those showers and storms this morning. 81 in Denver. Of course, some of the warmest temperatures are farther down to the south. Let's see, what's the warmest in the Oklahoma City area? 95, Guthrie? Guthrie wins, 95 degrees right now. We've got 96 down in Denton. Factor in the moisture and humidity with this, and you get your feel-like temperature. That brings us to 109 in Shreveport. I think Shreveport's the winner here. 109 is the highest that I can see on the map right now. We've got 98 in Oklahoma City, the 80s out in Denver. So that moisture really, really does something to how it feels outside. It means that your body has a really hard time cooling down. That's why we bring these temperatures, or feel like temperatures, up just a little bit. We also call that the heat index. Okay, let's take a look at the instability. You can see we've got some really good instability right here, anywhere from Kansas all the way out to Missouri and then into southern Nebraska here. This is an area that we'll be focusing on today for some of those strongest storms. Oh, and you can see some of those storms using up that instability pretty significantly later on this evening and into the late night hours. Also looking at that hail threat for today, expecting some pretty large hail in this area as well, anywhere from Omaha all the way down to Kansas City. And then we could even see some hail farther up to the north in places like North South Dakota, into Nebraska and northern Kansas. So we'll keep an eye on that for you this afternoon, but I do want to just go ahead and jump right into today's hail forecast. I think one of the things that we see right off the bat is that we do have that most significant area shaded here with those dashes in Omaha. That's where we could see the most significant hail. Now I have Omaha at a yellow, a moderate risk here. And then I have Kansas City in the red. And that's because I think that we have a better chance for Kansas City to get storms overnight. There's a chance that some of these storms could go just to the east of Omaha, but I do think Kansas City will definitely get storms, and you could see some hail with that, anywhere from about 1.25 inches to golf ball sized hail. Let's head farther up to the north here, take a break from Kansas City and Omaha, Bismarck, Rapid City. You could see some of those isolated showers and storms later on this afternoon, just within the next few hours. Now you have already seen rain this morning in Bismarck. That's caused some flooding issues up here. Most of this hail will be on the smaller size, right around the size of a quarter, maybe just a bit bigger, but the storms overall mainly isolated. However, you can see by later on today, these storms are a lot more widespread, not as isolated in nature here, which is why I have brought that risk level up for places like Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City. Farther down to the south into Garden City, still a pretty low risk here for just some isolated storms that could have produced hail. Not everyone in this area will be getting that large hail. Most people will actually stay dry because these storms are so isolated. All right, taking a look at the largest hail size that you could see today, I think that we're going to go on definitely a larger size than what we have been seeing. Yesterday we saw golf ball sized hail, today up to tennis ball sized hail. Most of us will see that between ping pong to golf ball sized range. However, a very few of us, just maybe a storm or two, could get up to that tennis ball sized range. So definitely some larger hail expected today than what we've seen over the past few days. What about those wind speeds? I think that we'll be right between 75 to 80 miles an hour for some of the strongest wind that we see today. Most of us ranging between 60 to 70 miles an hour. And of course, we also do have that tornado risk in play for today as well. Low risk for most, however, you're looking at Omaha and Kansas City here. So that better chance for that tornado risk will be up near Omaha. What we're watching for here, and we'll take a look at the radar in just a few minutes, what we're watching for here is the initial storms that form will have the higher tornado risk as we go throughout the evening and late night hours. That's whenever we're going to see more of a hail and a wind risk. Okay, taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, and then we'll go back to the radar for today. You can see tomorrow's forecast has once again a risk for some pretty decent hail sizes. Up to golf ball sized hail, anywhere from Omaha all the way up to Chicago. I have St. Louis and Chicago in that moderate chance for hail tomorrow. We also have a tornado risk with this. We also have a wind risk in play. Here's your wind risk, I think between about 75 and 80 mile per hour winds expected tomorrow from some of these storms that will continue on from what we see today. And I think I have the tornado risk on the board here. Let's see if my graphics, there we go. Okay, yes, there's that tornado risk in a very similar spot as I mentioned, from Omaha, Kansas City, all the way up to Chicago is where we're expecting that tornado risk once again tomorrow. It is on the lower side, lower than what we see today, but it's still on the board, so it is still something to take serious. Okay, let's come back to today. let's talk about the timing for these storms. I've broken this down into 3 different sections. We have North and South Dakota. I'll go down to Nebraska, and then we'll go across to Kansas and into northern Oklahoma. So starting up to the north, we've already talked about some of those showers and storms that we've seen this morning. We're going to have very isolated showers and storms all the way stretching down to the south as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. So anytime between now and about 8 o'clock, some of the largest or main hazards here will be that marginally severe hail just over the size of a quarter and marginally severe wind just over 60 miles an hour, right in between that 60 to 70 mile per hour range. Heading farther down to the south now, this is the best area to see those stronger, severe storms later on today. So what we're watching for between about 5 to midnight are those storms here in Omaha, approaching from the west into Omaha. Some storms could form right on top of the city, kind of depends on which model you look at here. So these storms, you may not have a ton of warning time, which is why you definitely need to have multiple ways to get that warning and make sure that you are weather prepared by 5 o'clock this evening. As we head into the late night hours, it's going to be very difficult to see these storms. The sun will set, and we're going to still see storms on the radar. They may be east of Omaha at this point as the sun sets. However, I'm going to take you farther down into Kansas City. This is whenever we expect that risk for Kansas City. Later on in the evening, after the sun has set. So here's a look at your risk for Kansas City. Large hail up to about 2.5 inches. That's about the size of a tennis ball. Up to 75 mile per hour wind speeds as well. And that isolated tornado threat anywhere between about 10 p.m. and into the late night hours into early tomorrow morning. So you can see by about 3:30 tomorrow morning, it's still storming here in Kansas City, and then all the way up to the north into Des Moines. Now I do think that these storms will be not as strong, not as severe into the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow, but it could be loud, it could be waking you up through the overnight hours. Okay, let's go ahead and take you farther down to the south. We're gonna reset our clock once again. Taking you down to the south into Kansas, we're really looking for some isolated storms here. These storms could produce just larger than quarter-sized hail and up to 60 to 70 mile per hour wind speeds anytime between this evening, right around or shortly before dinner time, into the late night hours. Okay, I know that was a lot, so if you need to go back and rewatch this forecast later on today so that you know exactly when to expect storms for your area, you can do that. This will be recorded and you can see it on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube later on this afternoon. Let's take a look at what we're expecting as we head into the next few hours here. You can see showers and storms across the eastern coast look pretty few and far between. Let's fast forward here. Taking a look at our temperatures into tomorrow and the weekend, it's hot once again. We're gonna reach triple digits today, tomorrow at 101 here in Oklahoma City, 90 degrees in Kansas City, 80 up in Chicago. You can see that we still have some really warm temperatures in this area, which could contribute to what we're expecting for storms tomorrow as well. Still staying above average as we head into Friday. And even this weekend, yep, you guessed it, triple digits down to the south. Even 90s in Denver. You know, Denver is usually sitting in the 80s at this time of the year. So we're expecting pretty high temperatures all the way through this weekend and into the middle to end of August. You can see above average temperatures, pretty likely anywhere from Dallas all the way up to Denver through the end of August here. Chicago may be getting some relief, seeing those temperatures below average later on this month. Taking a look at the rain chances here over the next 5 days, this makes sense, right? Because we're getting all of those storm chances over the next 2 to 3 days, anywhere from, what do we talk about, Omaha, Kansas City, all the way up to Chicago. And then that will continue to track off to the east. We're going to continue to see rain chances across the East Coast over the next 5 days. However, it looks like we're going to go into a pattern change as we head into the end of August here. Just a bit drier farther down to the south and into the Midwest. More rain out to the west. All right, let's take you down to the tropics now. Let's talk about Hurricane Ernesto. We were talking about this yesterday, that we were expecting or are expecting this to intensify into a hurricane. That's exactly what we saw. So this morning, the National Hurricane Center officially upgraded this to a Category 1 hurricane. What we're looking for here is an area where that hurricane is right now, pretty high shear, not great for hurricane development. However, as this goes farther up to the north, we're going to see some really good hurricane development. Now, this goes right into areas like Bermuda. There's not a ton in this area. We often call this a fish storm because what does it impact? Not a ton of islands, mostly the fish. We have some pretty warm sea surface temperatures here, so we are expecting continued intensification as we head into the next few days. Category 1 through Thursday. However, by Friday, we're expecting this to intensify into a Category 3 hurricane. And as I mentioned, not a ton in this area, but Bermuda is out here. And it looks like right now, this hurricane has a direct track right to Bermuda. Thankfully, starting to weaken as it reaches this area, but we'll be tracking this as we head into the weekend because this could mean significant impacts for Bermuda as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that for you. The impacts for the states, the East Coast here, looks like not a ton of impacts, maybe a few clouds, extra clouds in this area. However, we're not expecting too much to be impacting the East Coast. This could continue, however, farther up to the north, maybe bringing some rain to some of our farther New England states. All right, thanks for joining us today. I know that was a lot. Again, if you need to go back and rewatch some of this to get more of that accurate timing, you can always do that. Give us a follow at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We do a great job of updating any hail pictures that we get, so send in your hail pictures. We will also update the forecast if there's anything that's significant that happens later on this evening with some of those storms. And of course, give us a call. If you're interested in any of those hail, wind, or tornado maps, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can also visit our website, hailtrace.com. Okay, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. We'll be back here same time, same place for your Thursday.